life rarely unravels in the dramatic storms we imagine. More often, our deepest suffering grows quietly, from the small, constant urge to control every detail of existence. We plan, predict, and push, believing that if we just hold tightly enough, we can keep the world from slipping through our fingers. Yet the truth is softer and more humbling. The tighter we grip, the more life resists. Like someone trying to hold the wind in their hands, we discover that the act of control itself becomes the source of our unease. Peace is never truly gone. It's simply hidden beneath the noise of our struggle to make everything go our way. We confuse control with safety, effort with progress, and worry with responsibility. But all of these are illusions, built by fear. The heart doesn't find calm through domination. It finds it through trust. There is a quiet intelligence beneath the surface of things, a rhythm that moves without our interference, guiding life in its own mysterious timing. Freedom begins the moment we loosen our grasp and let that rhythm lead. It's not a collapse into passivity, but a surrender into awareness, a remembering that not everything needs to be managed for it to unfold beautifully. Control may bring temporary comfort, but trust brings lasting peace. So take a breath. Let the shoulders soften. For a few moments, release the need to fix, to force, to know. Because sometimes life is not asking you to make it happen. It's asking you to get out of the way. Let's explore what happens when we stop forcing and start flowing. Lesson 1. Your inner frequency shapes your reality. Every thought you think and every emotion you feel sends out a silent signal, an invisible vibration that shapes the world around you. Long before you take action or speak a word, your energy has already begun a conversation with life. It tells the universe who you are, what you believe, and what you're ready to receive. This is the deeper truth behind karma and resonance. Life doesn't respond to your voice. It responds to your state of being. When your heart is filled with fear, restlessness, or doubt, that energy becomes fragmented. You may say you want peace, but if your energy is rooted in anxiety, life reflects that confusion back to you. Fear distorts the signal. Desperation shouts the wrong message. You start to attract chaos, not because the universe is cruel, but because it mirrors the vibration you're sending. It hears not your words, but your emotional tone. But when you move through life with quiet confidence, when gratitude replaces worry and trust replaces tension, your energy becomes clear. You begin to attract people, opportunities, and moments that match your calm. This is not luck or coincidence. It is alignment. It's the universe saying, "Now I can reach you." What once felt far away begins to flow effortlessly towards you, because your inner world finally speaks the same language as the outer one. Effort born from anxiety leads nowhere. You can work endlessly, plan perfectly, and still feel stuck, because your vibration is out of tune. But a single step taken from calm intention carries more power than 1,000 taken in panic. Right timing and right opportunity are not found through pressure. They unfold when your energy is steady enough to notice them. So pause for a moment and ask yourself, what kind of energy am I offering the world right now? Fear or faith? You don't have to force an answer. Simply notice. Awareness itself begins to realign your frequency. When you choose peace over panic, trust over tension, you become a living invitation for life to meet you halfway. When your inner world begins to mirror the serenity you wish to experience, your outer world gently follows. You stop chasing outcomes, and instead, life begins to flow toward you, naturally, quietly, and with perfect timing. Because in truth, the universe has always been listening. It's just waiting for you to speak in the language of calm. Lesson 2. The paradox of control. Have you ever tried to hold a handful of sand too tightly? The harder you squeeze, the faster it slips through your fingers. Life is very much the same. The more we try to grasp and direct every moment, the more the natural flow of existence resists us. We think control will bring safety, that if we plan every detail and anticipate every possibility, life will finally obey our will. But the truth is quieter and far more humbling. Control is the illusion that keeps us from peace. Control is born from fear. Fear of uncertainty, fear of loss, fear that if we stop managing, everything will fall apart. Yet that constant need to predict and protect often creates the very tension we're trying to avoid. It builds a wall between us and the life we're meant to experience. The mind believes it's keeping us safe, but what it really does is keep us small, trapped in cycles of overthinking and exhaustion. True strength doesn't come from holding on, it comes from knowing when to let go. Direction without tension, that is mastery. You still move toward your goals, but your movement is graceful, not frantic. You still make decisions, but you do so from clarity, not from fear. You still dream, but you no longer cling to the shape those dreams must take. This balance between effort and surrender is where wisdom lives. Trust, in this sense, is not a feeling. It's a discipline. It is the daily practice of acting with care, then releasing the outcome. It means doing what you can with honesty and presence, and then allowing life to do the rest. It's not about giving up your power, but about remembering that you were never meant to control the entire sky. Only the direction of your own wings. When you begin to live this way, a subtle peace emerges. The tension in your body softens. Your thoughts grow quieter. You start to notice that things often work out better when you stop forcing them. Letting go is not laziness. It's cooperation with reality. It's the recognition that life, in its natural intelligence, often knows better than our limited plans. So the next time you feel that urge to tighten your grip, pause and breathe. Remind yourself that what is meant for you cannot be lost by trusting. Control may feel safe, but surrender is what sets you free. Lesson 3. The power of stillness and silence. We live in a world that rarely stops speaking. Every moment seems filled with noise, notifications, conversations, headlines, thoughts running like an endless current through the mind. In this constant motion, something precious gets lost, the voice of our own intuition. The more noise we let in, the less space we leave for truth to be heard. And yet, beneath all that noise, clarity is always waiting, quiet, patient, and alive. Silence has been misunderstood. We often see it as emptiness, as absence, as something to be filled. But in truth, silence is not nothingness. It is the presence of everything that matters. It's the field where wisdom begins to bloom. In the stillness of silence, we don't lose ourselves. We find ourselves again. It's where the scattered pieces of our attention gently return home. Imagine a calm lake on a windless morning. When the surface is still, it mirrors the sky with perfect clarity. Every cloud, every color, every ray of light. But when disturbed by waves, the reflection breaks apart, and what was always there becomes impossible to see. The same is true within us. When we are restless, when the mind churns with noise and reaction, our inner vision blurs. But when we become still, when we allow our thoughts to settle, truth begins to reflect clearly once more. Stillness is not passivity. It is an act of courage in a world addicted to motion. Silence is not the absence of life. It's the pulse of awareness beneath it. Every great teacher, every moment of awakening begins here, in listening instead of reacting. In the space between thoughts, something wiser than thought begins to speak. Treat silence as a sacred practice. You don't need to sit on a mountain or escape the world. You can begin anywhere, between breaths, between words, between the noise of one task and the next. Create small pauses in your day, moments where you simply stop and listen, not to the world, but to yourself. In those pauses, clarity grows. Answers surface, not through struggle, but through presence. The more you learn to rest in stillness, the less you need to chase meaning, because meaning starts to find you. And when you discover peace in silence, you realize it was never hiding. It was waiting for you to finally hear it. Lesson 4. Trusting the timing of life. We live in an age where everything moves at the speed of desire. We want results now, healing now, success now, peace now. The world has taught us that patience is weakness, that waiting means falling behind. But the truth is far more graceful. Life is not late. It's simply unfolding in the rhythm that serves your becoming. Look to nature. The river never rushes to reach the sea, yet it always arrives. Its journey winds through stones and still waters, guided by trust in the terrain. The river doesn't question whether it's moving fast enough. It knows that its flow is its purpose. The same is true for you. When you stop forcing your timing and start trusting life's natural rhythm, peace begins to return. What feels like delay is often divine preparation. Life rearranges quietly, shaping circumstances, strengthening your spirit, and aligning unseen threads that you couldn't weave yourself. The pause is not punishment, it's protection. You are being made ready for what's already on its way. Just because you can't see the progress doesn't mean it isn't happening. Most growth takes place beneath the surface, in silence, away from applause. Patience, then, is not waiting idly. It's faith in motion. It's showing up with calm consistency, tending to what's in front of you, even when you can't yet see the outcome. It's walking your path without rushing to the destination. When you learn to move in harmony with life's rhythm, the anxiety of comparison fades. You stop measuring your worth by speed and start measuring it by presence. Ask yourself, what if waiting isn't wasting time, but ripening time? Every season has its purpose, even the slow ones. The seed doesn't curse the soil for not blooming fast enough. It trusts the dark until it's ready for light. Your life, too, is blooming in its own sacred order. The moment you stop demanding that everything arrive on your schedule, you begin to see the quiet perfection already unfolding around you. Trust the timing of your life. The universe has never missed a sunrise, and it will not miss you. Lesson 5. Worthiness and the mirror of belief. There's a quiet truth hidden in the heart of every spiritual path. Life doesn't give you what you ask for. It gives you what you believe you deserve. The universe doesn't respond to words or wishes. It responds to energy, to self-perception, to the tone of your inner voice. You could pray, plan, and dream endlessly. But if deep down you believe you are unworthy of peace, love, or success, life will mirror that belief with exquisite precision. The universe is not judging you, it's reflecting you. Every experience, every encounter, Every delay carries within it a subtle echo of how you see yourself. When you carry self-doubt, you notice rejection everywhere. When you walk with shame, you expect disappointment. But when you begin to see yourself as whole, not perfect, but worthy, life slowly rearranges to match that truth. This isn't magic, it's resonance. What you hold inside becomes the frequency that shapes your outer world. Low self-worth is one of the most invisible forms of resistance. It quietly blocks abundance, love, and joy, even when they're right in front of you. You might chase opportunities, only to find them slipping away, not because they weren't meant for you, but because you couldn't yet believe they were. When you see yourself as undeserving, you unconsciously reject what your heart longs for. The mind says, I want this, but the energy whispers, I don't belong here. And the universe listens to the whisper. To begin transforming your life, you must start with the most intimate form of mindfulness, awareness of how you speak to yourself. Notice the tone of your inner dialogue. Is it kind or critical? Encouraging or cruel? Would you speak that way to someone you love? Most of us carry an internal voice shaped by years of judgment, fear, and comparison. We become our own harshest teachers. But Buddhism reminds us that compassion must begin within. The mind that criticizes itself cannot rest in peace. So start small. Each time you catch yourself saying, I can't, or I'm not enough, pause, breathe. Replace the old voice with one that speaks like a friend. Try saying, I'm learning, or I'm growing. These gentle words are not just affirmations, they are new instructions for the universe. The moment you begin to treat yourself as worthy, you shift the signal you're sending to life. What was once blocked begins to flow. Remember, worthiness is not earned. It's not a prize you receive when you've achieved enough, healed enough, or pleased enough people. Worthiness is your natural state, the quiet truth beneath all the noise of self-doubt. Every child is born with it. Every heart still carries it. The work is not to become worthy, but to remember that you already are. When you live from this remembrance, everything changes. You stop settling for half-hearted love because you know you deserve the kind that feels peaceful and real. You stop chasing validation because your worth is no longer on trial. You begin to say no to what drains you and yes to what nourishes you. You make room for opportunities that once seemed unreachable because you finally believe they belong in your story. And this is where healing becomes alignment. The outer world responds to your inner transformation. People treat you differently, not because they changed, but because your energy did. Doors open, not because luck appeared, but because resistance dissolved. You start attracting experiences that match your higher perception of self, not from ego, but from authenticity. Healing self-belief is one of the deepest forms of spiritual practice. It requires honesty, forgiveness, and patience. But as you practice it, the world around you begins to shift in quiet, almost miraculous ways. The opportunities you thought were gone return in gentler form. The love you thought you lost finds a new way to reach you. The peace you've been searching for was never outside you. It was always waiting behind the door of self-acceptance. So tonight, when you sit in silence, ask yourself, do I truly believe I deserve a beautiful life? Don't answer with words. Feel it in your body. Let your heart respond. Because the moment you begin to believe you are worthy, you stop chasing life, and life begins to chase you. Lesson 6. Calmness as creative power. In a world that worships speed, noise, and constant movement, calmness can seem like weakness. But in truth, it is one of the highest forms of mastery. Anyone can act out of urgency. It takes real strength to remain steady when everything around you trembles. Calmness is not withdrawal from life. It is participation with awareness. It is the quiet confidence that you do not need to chase what is already moving towards you. There is a magnetic quality to still energy. When your mind is calm and your heart is unhurried, you become a mirror for clarity. Opportunities, people, and ideas are naturally drawn to that stillness. You've probably noticed it. Calm people carry a presence that feels safe and centered. They don't need to prove anything, and yet everything seems to unfold in their favor. That's because calmness refines energy. It's a silent signal that says, I am ready. Think of calmness as the soil where intentions grow. You can plant all the right seeds, your goals, dreams, and prayers. But if the ground is hard with tension and worry, nothing takes root. When you soften, when you breathe, and let the soil of your being loosen, your intentions finally have space to grow. Calmness doesn't make life slower. It makes life clearer. It gives form and order to what was once scattered. Stillness and stagnation are not the same. Stagnation is the absence of movement. Stillness is movement with awareness. When you act from peace instead of panic, your actions carry precision. You stop wasting energy on fear-based motion, the kind that looks busy but goes nowhere. You begin to move less but accomplish more, because each step arises from alignment, not anxiety. Calmness turns effort into art, and yet calmness is not about pretending everything is fine. It's about trusting that even when things aren't fine, you can face them without collapsing. It's the understanding that clarity does not come from rushing, but from resting deeply in presence. A calm mind can see solutions that a frantic one misses. When you breathe before reacting, when you wait before judging, when you listen before deciding, you begin to act not as a victim of life, but as a conscious participant in it. Ask yourself, what if doing less from fear could bring you more from faith? What if the very stillness you've been avoiding is the bridge to everything you've been chasing? In that question lies the secret of calm power. Life does not always need you to push. Sometimes it needs you to pause. In that pause, energy gathers, clarity forms, and direction emerges. The calm person is not detached from life. They are deeply in tune with its rhythm. They don't force the tide. They learn to move with it. So, take this truth gently with you. Calmness is not a retreat from the world. It is the strength to stay open within it. It is the quiet power that turns confusion into wisdom, chaos into order, and motion into meaning. When you learn to live and act from this calm center, you stop fighting for creation. You become the space where creation happens. Lesson 7. Letting go. The gate to grace. There is a moment in every journey when we realize that holding on has become heavier than letting go. We grip the past, we cling to our plans, we tighten our fists around outcomes, believing that control is the way to ensure safety. But life, in its quiet wisdom, keeps whispering release. Because what you release makes room for what's meant for you. Letting go is not the same as giving up. It's not indifference or apathy. It is an act of faith. A deep cooperation with life's rhythm. Think of a seed. Once you've planted it in the earth, you cannot keep digging it up to check if it's growing. You must trust the unseen process taking place beneath the soil, the quiet work of roots forming, light finding its way in, and life preparing to bloom. Your dreams, your healing, your becoming, they are all seeds, and the moment you stop tugging at them in impatience is the moment they begin to grow. To let go is to participate fully in life's design. You still care, you still take action, but you no longer demand that everything unfold on your timeline or match the picture in your mind. You start to walk beside life, not ahead of it. You realize that the river doesn't need your permission to flow. It simply moves. And when you stop resisting, that same current begins to carry you too. The truth is, we cling because we fear. We fear loss, uncertainty, and the possibility that if we release our grip, nothing better will take its place. But faith, real faith, is trusting what you cannot yet see. It is the courage to loosen your hold and believe that what is meant for you cannot be taken away. The Buddha taught that suffering comes not from life itself, but from our attachment to it. When we try to control impermanence, we wage war with reality, and reality always wins. Not because it's cruel, but because it's wiser. Letting go requires humility. The humility to admit that we don't always know what's best for us. Sometimes the things we lose are the very things that would have kept us small. Sometimes the door that closes is the one that leads us to a better room. When life removes something, it isn't always punishment. It might be preparation. The universe often clears space before it delivers something new. But you must be willing to let go of what is fading before you can receive what is forming. Surrender, then, is not a weakness. It is a spiritual art. The willingness to cooperate with the unseen. It's not about abandoning effort. It's about aligning effort with trust. When you surrender, you don't stop participating in life. You simply stop fighting it. You stop demanding that every detail bend to your will. You begin to say, "Let this too serve my awakening." That single sentence transforms resistance into grace. Letting go also means allowing yourself to feel grief, disappointment, uncertainty. They are all part of the release. Suppression is not surrender. Real letting go allows emotion to move through you like weather, rain passing across the sky of your awareness. You do not chase it away, and you do not become it. You simply allow it to pass. The calm that follows isn't emptiness. It's space. The space where grace enters. And grace always arrives quietly. Sometimes as a new opportunity, sometimes as a sense of peace that no explanation can justify. It appears when you stop clinging, when you finally trust that life doesn't need your control to care for you. This is the paradox of surrender. The moment you stop grasping, life begins to give. The moment you open your hands, blessings can finally land. What you release is never truly lost. It transforms, rearranges, and often returns in a wiser form. Relationships that end may evolve into peace. Dreams that fade may reappear in gentler shapes. Even pain, when released, becomes compassion. Nothing real is ever wasted. The energy of love and intention always finds its way back, not as repetition, but as revelation. So let this be your reminder. Letting go is not leaving life. It's meeting life where it already is. It's walking in rhythm with the divine flow that has been guiding you all along. You don't need to force what's meant for you, and you don't need to chase what's already on its way. Breathe. Soften your grip. Allow the universe to do what it has always done, to move, to shape, to deliver. Because what is truly yours flows toward you when your hands are open. And when you learn to live with open hands, you finally discover that the act of letting go was never about losing anything. It was about remembering that you were never empty to begin with. You don't need to chase life. You only need to trust it. Every lesson we've explored leads to this one quiet truth. Your energy shapes your reality. Your patience creates your timing. Your sense of worth decides what you allow. Your calmness turns motion into wisdom, and your surrender opens the gate to grace. Each of these is a different expression of the same thing: allowing. Allowing life to move through you rather than around you. So much of our suffering comes from the belief that we must hold everything together. That our value lies in how hard we push, how much we control, how perfectly we perform. But peace isn't earned that way. Peace arrives when you stop gripping, when you stop fighting the current, and when you begin to let life be what it already is, a living flow, designed to guide you exactly where you need to go. Take a slow, deliberate breath. As the air fills your lungs, notice where you're still holding on. To a worry, an outcome, a story that no longer serves you. Exhale gently and imagine releasing it into the open air. This is the sacred rhythm of trust. Inhale faith, exhale control. With each breath, you return to the natural harmony that life has been waiting to share with you. There is nothing you must force and nothing you must chase. The moment you begin to live in alignment, calm in energy, patient in timing, grounded in worthiness, still in presence, and open in surrender, life meets you halfway. The doors that were once locked begin to open effortlessly. The opportunities that once felt distant begin to move closer. And the peace you've been seeking reveals itself not as something to find, but as something you've carried all along. So, as this journey closes, carry this blessing in your heart. May you trust life enough to release control, and may what's meant for you find you in stillness. Let that stillness be your prayer. Let it be your power. Because when you live from the peace of allowing, you discover that the universe was never testing you. It was always teaching you to trust. If this message brought calm to your heart, walk this path with us. One breath, one truth, one moment at a time. The way forward isn't in chasing, it's in allowing.